Welcome to another episode of Metal and Beer. In this beer review, we're going all the way back to the 80s, 1985 to be exact. I am trying Voodoo Ranger 1985 IPA. This is by New Belgium. Now, actually, this is a hazy IPA, so I'm really interested to try this, and I have not tried this before, so I'm tasting this for the very first time right here with you. Let's crack this open. Now, the 1985 IPA is brewed with 3 different types of hops. You've got your Citra, which that's known to be, heavy on the tropical side, the tropical flavors, of course, and the citrus flavors, but it's also known to give you that harsh bitterness. Now, of course, with hazy IPAs, you don't really have that harshness. Of course, there's some things in the brewing process that offsets that and just gives it that really well-balanced flavor. The other 2 hops are your Simcoe and your Cascade hops. So with both of those, of course, you've got the tropical flavors in there, a little bit of grapefruit, I believe, in both of those hops. The Simcoe also has those earthy undertones, where the Cascade gives you more of a floral aroma. So you've got several different things going on here all at one time, which makes this pretty cool. Now, there's also a special process that New Belgium uses to give this beer more of a mango, pineapple, and guava flavor. So you've got a lot of tropical stuff going on in here, and a lot of different colors too, which kind of mimic the can. You've got the yellow and green here, and of course you've got the really cool Voodoo Ranger. Looks like that could go on the cover of a Megadeth album. And then you've got that 1985 and that hot pink. That kind of reminds me of Miami Vice. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's give this a try. Oh, wow. Okay, so the mango and pineapple like hit you immediately. And you can see the color there. That's a nice haze. Man. Okay, let's try it. Okay. There's not a lot of bitterness at all, which that's what I expect from a hazy IPA. And I'm waiting for those after flavors to kind of kick in here. So the pineapple really stays with you for a while here. That stays with you. That's really prevalent in the beer. And now I'm even getting hints of that guava. Man, this is definitely like a sit by the pool or lounge out by the patio type of beer. Reading a good book and listening to some metal music, of course. The 1985 IPA, and again, this is a hazy IPA. The alcohol content is 6.7%. The IBU is 30. Now, why did they name this the 1985 IPA? I'm kind of curious about that. I get it with the flavors and the colors here, the artwork on the can. I can kind of see what they're doing here. Now, there's even a little cobra on the Voodoo Ranger's jacket. I immediately think of Cobra Kai from Karate Kid. Now, Karate Kid was released in '84, and then Karate Kid 2 was released in 1986. So, we're kind of like right in the middle here with the 1985 IPA here. And these colors, I mean, again, the hot pink and all the different colors, the jacket, the glasses, the hat, the style, it's just very vibrant and exciting. And when I'm tasting this beer, it does have that vibrance and kind of exciting flavor. So I get it. I can see the correlation between these two, the taste of the beer and, of course, the theme here, the 1985. I'm a super fan of everything that's 80s, and it's funny how even some of the younger generations, they still revert back to the things that happened in the 80s. There was just so much going on, and there was just so much excitement, so many new things, and it was just a really fun time. It was really a fun generation and fun era to grow up in. So New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger 1985 IPA. This is a really good beer. I've got 5 more in the fridge, and I may end up drinking all of those today. But before I do that, let's talk about the metal part of this Metal and Beer episode. So I want to do something a little different in this episode for the metal part of our video here. Instead of highlighting just one album or one song or one band, I want to highlight some of the metal albums that were released in 1985, because there's a slew of albums released that year. 3 of the big 4 bands, you know, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, 3 of those bands actually released an album in 1985. And in fact, in 1985, that was Megadeth's first album, Killing Is My Business. And we're going to come back to that album in a second. So you had Slayer's Hell Awaits, and I believe that was actually their second album. And in Anthrax, their second album was also released in 85, Armed and Dangerous. We had Overkill, Feel the Fire, Dio's Sacred Heart, Iron Maiden, Life After Death, Exodus, Bonded by Blood, Kreator, Endless Pain, W.A.S.P, The Last Command, and Halloween's Walls of Jericho. Now, I want to mention just a few other bands real quickly, and this kind of merges into the hair band category, but these are also some cool albums that were released in 1985. We had Motley Crue's Theater of Pain, Stryper's Soldiers of Command, Dokken's Underlock and Key, and we had Ratt's Invasion of Privacy. All those are really good albums, even if you weren't really into the hair band type of music. Those albums were kind of borderline hair band and, you know, hard rock, heavy metal. I know they all wore makeup and all that stuff, but musically, I think they were a little bit more on the edge than most of the other hair bands. Now, let's go back to that one song that I want to highlight from an album that was released in 1985, and this was off Megadeth's very first album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. It's called Mechanics. Now, Dave Mustaine wrote this song. He brought this song to Metallica, and it was actually part of one of Metallica's demo tapes. I don't know if it was 81 or 82. And Metallica kind of merged that song into what's known as the Four Horsemen on their first album, Kill 'Em All, which was released in 1983. Dave was kicked out of that band the same year that album was released. Dave Mustaine comes back in 1985, though, with a vengeance, and he decided, hey, I'm gonna put my song on my album. Of course, as a metalhead, you may already know the story behind that song, and if I missed anything, if there's some facts that you want to throw in there, please leave those in the comments on this video here. Those of you who didn't know the story, it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, hey, this is the history of heavy metal music, and pretty much every great metal band and subgenre of metal that's been created beyond that really goes back to Metallica and Megadeth being the roots of their influence, mine included. So guys, that wraps it up for this episode of Metal and Beer, and again, I want to just highlight the Voodoo Ranger 1985 Hazy IPA. What a wonderful beer this is. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm. Please also make sure you're subscribed to my channel and ding that little bell. I really appreciate that. I have a lot of fun doing these videos. I feel like you and I are just sitting here together drinking some brews and chatting about metal music. Thank you once again for supporting Metal and Beer. I'll see you on the next video.